This may sound harsh, but consider that you're being busy all the time, needing to be productive all the time, is actually killing you. Some of my top listened to podcasts have been around the title of why leaders struggle so much with food addiction or emotional eating, why leaders can't figure out the food, body, and weight thing despite being so successful in other areas of life. And my current awareness around this specific topic about how busyness, having to be productive all the time, being go, 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 is actually killing you, has increased recently. There have been many things that have come into my awareness, and I kind of trust that what I am present to and listening to is also what will benefit you the most to share as well. So as always, I am so thankful to have this platform and all of my dedicated listeners. If this podcast resonates with you, please share it with people who want a deeper look at your relationship with food, body, and weight, and how it's not just about calories in and calories out, but really understanding the source of where this is coming from in the first place. So let's dive into this topic. There is a doctor, Dr. Gabor Mate is his name, and he does research on a lot of mental health topics. He's worked in it for many, many years if you want to check his stuff out. But in a recent interview I listened to with him, he was talking about autoimmune disease, which I think most of us probably know someone who's affected with autoimmune disease. So if you're not aware of this, it could be things like Crohn's disease, psoriasis, eczema, scleroderma. There's just so many different autoimmune diseases. And even if you don't have that one yourself, I know this conversation is still going to resonate, but how 80% of autoimmune disease actually happens to women. And he talks about how, so what an autoimmune disease is when your own body's cells are fighting against your own body cells. So it's trying to kill off aspects of your body that you actually need. And autoimmune diseases are, they don't know why they happen. And for myself, kind of working at the deeper root issues of things and really taking a holistic approach to health, I really get what he's talking about here. So what he's talking about is how with women in our society, we often are challenged by things like people pleasing, a lack of boundaries, putting other people before yourself, putting other people's emotions before yourself and your own. All of these types of things, basically a self-abandoning, that those things lead to diseases like autoimmune diseases. I will also say from my experience, all of these things lead my clients to overeat. And while I do work with men, the majority are women. And these are the main things that we're working on. So, you know, whether it's constantly having an outward demeanor of being kind and happy and polite and everybody loves you and appreciates you, but then you might internally feel a sense of frustration, aggravation, and people feeling ungrateful for you and of all the stuff that you're doing. Maybe you're really sacrificing a lot of yourself at work or in your family or for your parents, and you have that bitterness or resentment in the background. But other people, when you're actually with them, they don't really know this. They see you as pleasant a lot of the time. Now, add your own flavor to this. It could be that you don't think that you actually feel any resentment and you're kind of telling yourself, no, I'm just happy to do it. Everything's fine. It's okay. But then you still struggle with emotionally eating, or maybe even an autoimmune disease, or some of these personal struggles. Or it could be that, you are aggravated and maybe people know it. Maybe people know that, you're bitter and resentful or whatever at times. So, and what is fascinating, going back to the holistic principle of this, is saying, like, when you're self-abandoning and you don't have any boundaries and it's like the autoimmune, the reason that it's happening is because of that exact thing, that your body is basically fighting you. It's like reverse fight against what is really unhealthy about what's going on for you in the background. Now, where does this come from? The root cause. I wish it was a different answer besides some degree of childhood trauma, but most things go back to this. So whether you had emotionally unavailable parents, narcissistic parents, abuse, physical, sexual, emotional abuse, maybe your family had a lot of financial hardships growing up, and maybe your parents were somehow unstable, and so you took on the responsibility of, I am responsible, which, by the way, was another one that he was saying was part of this, was just feeling responsible in general. And I've been talking about this in lots of podcast episodes about also that responsible thing then leading to other diseases, inflammatory. So whether it's autoimmune or cancer or even just emotional eating, anything that's going on within you health-wise that is really not great, I really want to invite you to, again, take this deeper dive with me today and deeper on your journey as well, to not just think that the only answer is medication or this or that, but to actually take seriously learning how to be with yourself, learning how to effectively create boundaries, not meaning a shield of saying no and like to protect yourself, because that's also not healthy. But rather the metaphor I heard recently was those trampolines that we'll see in people's backyards that have the screens all the way around it, so that if you bounce and you bounce outside of the boundaries of the trampoline, you'll hit the mesh wall and then you'll bounce back down. So boundaries are supposed to be flexible and they're supposed to, move like this, but it's so that energy can move and life can move, and therefore you're not slamming against a wall, feeling the pain of that, and then numbing it out with food or whatever else that we're doing to numb out with. So actually taking these things seriously, taking the people pleasing seriously, learning how to say no, learning how to, again, know what you want, learn how to get that your aggravation and frustration with parents or siblings or significant others is actually a sign that there's more opportunities to do work within yourself. Of course, when there is all of this going on, so say all of that people pleasing, lack of boundaries, can't say no, I am responsible, all these types of things. And at the end of the day, you're kind of running away from personal intimacy or just intimacy in general, because to actually feel your feelings and the pain that's under there is deeply intimate, and that can be deeply uncomfortable. I have many clients right now, all my clients, it literally feels like the scariest thing in the world to feel sadness or to feel hurt or to feel guilt or shame. And a lot of times it's because as a child, whenever you felt any of those negative emotions, if you didn't have a parent who knew how to validate what you were feeling and create a safe place for you to feel those things, then you had to bottle that in. And there was the fear of like abandonment or fear that you'd hurt your parents or whatever else could be going on in the background that has it. Now that you're an adult, you also don't even know how to feel those things, and it feels terrifying to actually go and feel it now. And this is why, again, you can have food addiction issues, emotional eating issues, also diseases. There is hope for this. I recommend that whatever is resonating with you about this type of conversation, if you have any of these things, even procrastination or, any numbing out, any alcohol, like I have to have this drink, any escapism, can't wait to go on vacation, any avoidant type of behaviors, it's not bad or wrong. It can just be like, ding, ding, ding. This is a sign that maybe there's an opportunity here for me. So, taking action on those things and starting to actually put yourself first and say, I'm kind of done with the drama, and I would always get to a place with myself of being like, okay, the jig is up. Like the fact that I keep having these types of problems means that there's something within me that's creating it. So while there still could be aspects, with other people that are making this even more challenging, I can't control the people, but I can control what I'm doing myself. And we all as human beings, there's areas that we don't know going on in the background that we're doing unconsciously and innocently based on our past. And once we shine the light on that, and then you take an action in a different direction, then you get a new result. And then, wow, now I don't have to carry with me this drama, this, upset, this anger. So as a way to not feel the feelings, which feels traumatic to even, like, your body, your unconscious just will not let you touch on these emotions. And the deeper the trauma, the more avoidant, and therefore the more busy that you are. And you constantly need to be productive. You constantly need to be going. Go, 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 go. Feels never ending. And maybe you're in a spot, as many of my clients are, where you're in the middle of big projects or in the middle of big work things, and you can't actually stop it just like that. There's so much, it's so complex. I just want to let you know I get it. Even just in the last couple years, I'm constantly on a journey of getting better and healing myself and becoming aware of what I'm not aware of, and having coaches to shine the light for me on what I'm not present to. That's going to have me be able to live a more peaceful, healthy, happy life, and hopefully become a good parent at some point. I would already be a good parent, but, just to, continue to be as good as possible. I'm on this journey as well. And the last couple years, I recognized that, what I had built up, even in this organization, while it was helping so many people, just hundreds of people that just raving reviews, and oh my gosh, it's my first Thanksgiving without having food cravings, or I don't need to eat all the treats at work automatically. Like, the results have never changed. And what I had created was really powerful, but there was an element of what I'm talking about in this podcast of I am responsible, that I was holding on in the background. I was responsible for my team and all of them to make sure that they got paid to be able to pay their bills, their mortgages, and support their families. I was also responsible for my clients' outcomes. I take my job really seriously, and I take their finances and their investment and their trust in us and our business really seriously. That will never change. But again, the difference was my internal feeling of terror, honestly, for if I failed at those responsibilities, like putting so much pressure on myself to do that, and therefore staying really busy, and even having, more codependent, like habits and constantly checking in with clients and making sure they're okay. Like, again, it can be mixed up with looking like excellent customer service, which I also will never change, but there is a difference in how I'm doing that now that actually allows my clients to trust themselves even more and to trust their journeys even more and to surrender even more and to take their own accountability even more to their own journey even more. So anyway, it was through my healing these inner pieces, right? And my constant need to be busy and my constant need to be stimulated. You look at what those things are from, right? And a lot of it is just that, again, that inner intimacy with self, asking those deeper questions about what's going on and rewriting the script. So going back to like when I had this awareness that that I needed to actually put myself first after years of not in running this business, I had a team of like 8 people and I had a whole bunch of clients and it felt pretty impossible. And I was kind of watching the whole thing and I had lots of support during it. Luckily, the level of consciousness I was bringing to the table as I was going through it was high because I do have faith in God and I do believe that I am being led. And I had also studied a lot of other entrepreneurs, some I've even interviewed on this podcast, who in the course of their 10, 20, 30-year entrepreneurial careers, they had times that looked a lot like what was going on for me. And asking questions, I would ask, were you becoming aware? Were you healing aspects of yourself when this went on? And a lot of them said, absolutely, yes. I was healing my relationship with finances. If you've been listening for a long time, that was a big thing. Because a lot of times the reason we stay busy is because we're terrified of not being able to pay the bills. We're terrified of losing our jobs. We're terrified of, right? And this is not just me. These are my clients, definitely my private clients, dealing with that, again, that rat race. And it's like, if we stop, then everything's going to fall apart is the feeling. So I just want to say to anybody who's in a space like that, as I know many of my private clients are, and even my Fast Track to Freedom clients, most of my clients, that you're not alone and that there is still a step-by-step process, and just get yourself whatever support that you need. And just one step at a time, you can start to peel back the layers and heal the aspects that allow whatever needs to be released, which can feel scary. But then also trusting that what's going to be coming back in is going to be more aligned. And that's what other business owners were saying to me, that, say their whole team fell away, as mine did. It was both conscious and unconscious, and I wish them all the best. I love them so much still. And it's just what happens in life. And then the people I interviewed were saying how then they got like really mission driven, really A+ players that just kind of came in, at the right times for all the different things. And it was, again, as a match to their upgraded version of the, person who is running the business. So again, bringing in that level of consciousness to whatever is going on. This can also happen in family dynamics, relationships, when relationships come and go, whether they're marriage relationships or friendships. And those things can feel the scariest and the most painful. But again, it's the level of consciousness that you bring to say, like, of course this is happening. It's because I'm upgrading. Of course this is happening. It's because I made a decision to, become the healthiest, most, authentic version of myself. And so therefore, it's impossible for things to stay the same around me, because our insides are a direct reflection of everything that's going on the outside of ourselves. So yeah, there was just always that for myself. And now I'm just very grateful, though, that I did the work and I'm on the other side of that to actually not feel those things. I used to be so scared of clients falling away or people falling away, team members falling away. And I don't have that, maybe a little bit here and there, but not really. Compared to before, night and day. And it's because I said yes to taking a look at the things that were causing me that amount of stress or angst. And the other aspect, like another motivator, is because I really know about what I'm talking about today, that to avoid those things leads to disease. It leads to the whole system failing, truly failing. And it's not to be ignored. My time working as a nurse just showed me, which I'm so grateful for, how precious life is and how important it is that we actually take action now, not later. Because all we have is now. We don't know what we have later. And to do it on the things that really are going to make the difference for you in the long term with your life, with your health. Your health is everything. So here are some questions. I'm going to just pull this up really quick for you that Dr. Gabor Mate gave that you can ask yourself to support you if you sound like this type of person who might need to do this deeper dive to get healthier. So here are the questions. So what am I saying no to? So it says, consider what you are not saying no to in important areas of your life, such as work, relationships, and internal drives. So you might not be saying no to saying no. You might not be saying no to people coming in, to just things that you don't want to do. You might not be saying no to it. And it said, how does my inability to say no impact my life? So consider the physical, emotional, and relational impact of your difficulty saying no. So if you're constantly saying yes when you want to be saying no, what physical, emotional, and relational impact does that have for your life? What bodily signals have I been overlooking? Consider any bodily signals or symptoms that you may be ignoring. So again, if you have any of these autoimmune things going on, or if you have this emotional or binge eating going on, if you have a high level of anxiety and stress going on that you know deep down inside is not just a normal level of anxiety and stress, these are examples. It says, what is the hidden story behind my inability to say no? So consider any hidden beliefs that may be contributing to your inability to say no, such as I have to be strong, or I'm responsible for how others feel. So, and the way you get that is just being like, okay, why am I not saying no? Well, because then I'd have to admit I was weak. Right? Or, well, then I'd be letting other people down because I am responsible for how others feel. Or I have to be strong or else everybody else will fail. The next question is, where did I learn these stories? Consider where you may have learned the beliefs that are contributing to your inability to say no. So, for myself, just definitely taking on that responsibility that I'm responsible for the emotionality of my family to stay intact. I have to be the strong one or else this whole family is going to fall apart, was literally what I took on as a kid. And then I also got a big fear of abandonment when a childhood friend in 7th grade didn't want to be my friend anymore after we created this very intimate, close connection as friends. And that wound just stayed with me and made me, not want to lose anybody, which would affect my fear of losing clients and these types of things that are natural to happen. And where have I ignored or denied the yes that wanted to be said? So consider any times when you may have ignored or denied the desire to say yes. And looking at that for yourself. So I hope those questions are helpful. This time of year, obviously, busyness is real. And for some of us, it's just kind of like, okay, busyness, and we're okay with it. But for others of us, it feels like we're at our wits' end. It feels like we're burning the candle at both ends. And I just want to invite you to have a deeper conversation with yourself, to take it seriously, to take your food, body, and weight stuff seriously. If this has been something that has been causing you stress and anxiety, and it heightens every single holiday season, it's not a good sign. And it's something that can lead to, like we're talking about, disease, messing up with your longevity. Like, I know you want to be with your family for a long time. I know you actually do want to take care of those people. Just in the last week, have had conversations with so many awesome people. A lot of people booked calls with me last week, and it was really, honestly, very moving. But, I had one woman say, like, I know I need to invest in myself, but I really need to make sure that I don't hurt my family. And this was after she was talking to me about her fasting blood sugar being like 140, which is high, and that she's been binging on sugar and like a lot of sugar for decades when she's not perfect on her diet. And so it's like, you don't want to hurt your family by making a financial investment, but how much are you hurting your family by taking off years of your life, as well as setting an example for them of what it looks like to be unhealthy with your eating and to be really unhealthy with coping in general with these things going on in the background that leads you to eat. I just had a conversation with a woman who I was the first person that she told that she was sexually abused by her brother for a year in her teens. And she's never talked to him or addressed any of these things or shared any. Because she was physically abused as a child by her parents. She did actually tell her mom that she was being sexually abused by her brother, and her mom didn't believe her. Money was scarce and food was scarce for them growing up. Like, these things just really impact us. I had another conversation with another woman. She ran a restaurant, and if you work in the restaurant industry in any way, shape, or form, or I've had clients in the catering industry or bakers, and that is also you can kind of know that if you're really into that industry, that this busyness thing that I'm talking about, and there being underlining issues, things you're running away from, intimacy with yourself and others, and fear of, abandonment or different things like this, like you are running away from something. And hear me when I say that it doesn't mean that you need to end your career, but it just means that, again, there's an opportunity to heal, to take a deeper look so that you can actually bring more presence to your work. You can actually create a better business, because the same way that I shared about how my business is better now because I'm better, and I attract amazing clients. I've always attracted amazing clients, but like there is a difference in energy because my energy is different. If you get better, everyone else around you gets better. And you're not meant to walk through aspects of life that are challenging like this alone, especially when there's trauma involved. We're all here to help each other. And what is it costing you to not actually take the fact that you can never feel rested seriously? That you're just scheduling vacations and, whatever, just so you can try to feel at peace or run away from what you're most scared of, which for some of us, it's dying. For some of us, it's abandonment. For some of us, it's fear, whatever it is. But wherever you go, there you are. And again, there is a way out of this, but you need to take action and you need to get support. Even in this, one of the interviews I was listening to today was talking about you just need to find someone who holds a safe space for you to actually be able to slow down. I've had 2 clients. One is going to be getting started with the program soon. And then another woman who's considering the program talk about how they could see the direct relationship between their going after the sweets and them seeking love. love that they never got as children for one reason or another, and love that they were just constantly feeling like they needed, like a drug, in order to feel the ability to carry on with their day-to-day lives, with being functional human beings. It's very common that we associate food with love because it does actually produce dopamine and different love chemicals in the body. So we're not taking that away, but what would it be like for you if you could actually create that feeling of intimacy and love with yourself on a day-to-day basis at any time, and also do the work to take whatever steps you need to take to make your external environment conducive to a peaceful, loving environment, which sometimes there's things, sometimes it's an easy job, and sometimes it really can take, a while. But the idea is your life gets better and better with each action step that is maybe a bit out of your comfort zone, but in the right direction towards what we're talking about here. A life of happiness, of freedom, of inner peace. I really, truly believe that all of us deserve to have that, are capable of having that. And yeah, it just starts with one action. And if you have not booked a call with myself, please do so. I love having these conversations. And I love just helping people gain more clarity on whatever is going on for them. When you're thinking about food 24/7, sometimes you really think it's like the food, but a lot of times it is some of these other deeper down issues in the background. This woman was her boyfriend in her older age, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and his memory was going down and down, and she previously was relying on this man for her safety and security as she dealt with her own challenges in life, and now she had to deal with stuff all on her own. And so food became her safety and stability, so weight gain was happening. Well, it turns out that when her food addiction started, when she was thinking about it all the time, was when she had to make a decision as a young parent to put her son, who had behavior issues, into a facility for many years. And she never stopped feeling guilty about that, even though her son forgave her. And so now, as she's contemplating maybe having to assist with her boyfriend going into a facility, now that he has Alzheimer's, she's confronted and she's dealing with all of the food thinking. And so I asked her, do you think there could be a correlation between that and this? And she's like, I never thought of that before. And that's the type of clarity I want to provide you on the calls that I offer, so that you can stop swirling in your head and you can actually get grounded into a solution. Whether that solution is working with me in the program, or that solution is something else that comes to you, or that I can make a recommendation for you about. People don't need to suffer. You don't need to suffer. And you definitely don't need to suffer alone. So what is stopping you from taking an action to get some outside support? I know it can be tough because it's almost like admitting failure, but I no longer have that anymore. But the first time I actually reached out to a coach and asked for help, I immediately started crying on the phone, because it literally felt like I had to admit, after years of trying to look perfect and like I could handle everything and I'm responsible and I can figure it out and I'm just going to get more training and I'm just going to become more whatever, that this is what's going to solve it. But all of us, like I said, need help at different points when we're just totally stuck and you've tried all the things that you thought should be the answer, or that you even thought were the answer because they helped you lose weight before, but then it actually didn't work. Or maybe you've gone to therapy or different programs around food, body, and weight, but it just never felt deep enough, or it felt like it was empty, or it felt surfacey, or felt like it was missing something. Like, this is what this is. And the first step you can take is just that call to at least get the clarity and have that deeper conversation to find out what's missing. So that is available to you. I am wishing you the most peaceful holiday season. It was so lovely to message a client just this morning who just graduated the program, and say to her, like, have the most amazing first Thanksgiving ever where you're free around food, body, and weight. And to just, know that she's going to get to be deeply connected with her family and not concerned about her weight and her eating habits. I was on stage talking at a dental convention a few weeks ago, and to just have my client on stage giving a testimonial saying, like, I can have 1 or 2 Reese's peanut butter cups now, and I used to have to have like the whole bag or 2, and literally felt like I couldn't walk the next day. And to have him say that this past Halloween, like, he just literally did not care about the candy. It's just awesome. So those are the types of results that you want to have. And then, losing weight is the icing on the cake, but the mental and emotional peace and freedom that you get to feel, which, by the way, is the starting point of all good things coming into your life. If you've ever studied anything about manifestation, or even if you haven't, and you've heard about, like, oh, it was when I was finally decided that I was just happy to be alone, that my soulmate came in. Like, it comes from the space of, once you can actually feel inside your nervous system at peace, steady, stable, calm, happy in your life, that is when the blessings come in. If you are on the rat race and in the hamster wheel of constantly thinking about this and constantly go, 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 and you know that it's an issue, like, listen to it, take action, get clarity on it so that you can get past it. Because again, your whole life is waiting for you on the other side. A life of happiness, freedom, and inner peace. That's what I want for you if you want it. Love you so much. You can check out our website, hpwl.co. To be able to book that call I was talking about this holiday season. I wish you a beautiful, blessed holiday, very safe, and enjoy, whether you're alone or with family and friends, that whatever you're doing, that you just feel connected with yourself deep inside, and you, feel empowered knowing that you are co-creating this life and that it can actually be a life by design. I love you so much, and we'll see you for the next episode. If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483.